everyone. This is criminal profiler Pat Brown, and there has been an update from the RCMP in Nova Scotia concerning Lilly and Jack Sullivan, the missing children. And there's a lot of confusion over what the timeline that they are now presenting actually means. And when I did my last video, which I'll link below, where I analyzed what might have happened to the two children, I pointed out that there was a gap in time where they were last seen because they hadn't been in school. And then when they went missing, I said, well, there might be about 72 hours, which are unaccounted for. This was important to me as a profiler because the more time you have where children are unaccounted for is the more time you have to do something with them if you did something to them. So you would have a few days to work with. If something happened to them, you could move them to some other location, even quite far away. You could drive a couple hours and find a remote place and bury them and then come back home. And nobody's going to be looking 2 hours away. They're only going to be looking in the vicinity because you say that's where they went missing. So that's why I pointed out that at the point in time when I did the video, there was only 72 hours that were sort of unaccounted for at that time. Now the RCMP has made a statement. And let me read you what the statement is because I find it very interesting. And let me read it to you first. The RCMP in Nova Scotia are looking for more video footage of two young children who vanished nearly 4 weeks ago and are now confirming the siblings were seen in public with family members the day before being reported missing. Okay, this is very important because if this is true, the 3 days which they might have had to work with if the parents were involved is now shrunk down to less than 24 hours, which still gives a reasonable amount of time, mind you. But that is important because you're trying to figure out what time frame anybody had to work with. Now, mind you, the RCMP has said they don't believe the children were abducted, which is fascinating in it right there, because what proof do they have that they weren't abducted? Because if the children managed to get out of their yard and somebody theoretically could have abducted them, why would they say they don't believe they were abducted? Well, they must have some reason to believe that, which ends up being two possibilities then. One, the children truly did get out of the backyard and go off into the woods there, and they just haven't found their bodies because they got lost in. It's hard to find bodies sometimes, especially small ones. Or something happened to those children that has to do with the parents that were in the house. And what I pointed out in my video last time was people keep talking about how the place is trashy and, it's a horrible, there's cars everywhere and there's junk everywhere. And that means the parents are bad people. That just, I disagree with that. There's a lot of people who live out country way, shall we say. They love fixing up cars. There's a lot of guys who like to get hold of a car that's, instead of buying a brand new car, they get hold of a car somebody's getting rid of, and they love to fix those cars up. And so they tend to have a lot of cars around. And then if they just have a backyard where they got chickens, which they do, and they put toys out, and they have, they're maybe not the neatest people, but that has nothing to do with the fact that they did anything to their children. Lindsay Clancy, who murdered 3 of her children up in Massachusetts, had a gorgeous house, everything absolutely pristine. All the children's toys were in proper places. She was absolutely a neatnik, and she killed 3 children. So that has nothing to do with just because you don't like the way they don't clean up enough. They got junk everywhere. It has nothing to do with that. The children can't be running around happily, especially in a big backyard where there's chickens and there's a play set and there's toys. I don't see any real good reason why they would have gone out of that yard in a short period of time. Some people said they saw there could be like some kind of holes in the fencing that they could get through. Yeah, maybe, but did they have a good reason to? In a short period of time that the mom and stepdad say they were out there playing? I find that hard to believe. So for me, it isn't a matter of what the place was too junky. It was that the children had a nice place to play, regardless of what you think about how pristine it was. And children don't give a crap about that. So they're having a good time out there. and they're used to being out in the backyard. Why are they running away, into the woods? I mean, so that's why I'm suspicious about the children disappearing on their own. But the RCMP says they weren't abducted, which is interesting because that only leaves the mom and stepdad in the focus. That doesn't mean they did anything, but it just put the big, huge light on them. All right, so let me read a little further on this. Lilly and so they were supposedly seen in public one day before they had gone missing. They were seen in public with family members. And a lot of people have said, what does that mean? They were seen in public with family members. I don't know. And this is a problem. In theory, if it's video, if they have a video view of the children in public with the family members, then we've definitely down to less than 24 hours. And that would be absolute. If it wasn't video, somebody said they saw the children with family members. Witnesses are always a little sketchy. Did they really see them? Don't know. Or were they in a vehicle driving by and they saw them, but they didn't know if they were those people and those kids, and if the kids were alive. All kinds of possibilities. But the RCMP is saying they're confirming the siblings were seen in public with family members a day before being reported missing, which when a police agency makes a confirmation, you would think they mean it. Okay. Lilly and Jack Sullivan, age 6 and 4, were reported missing from their home in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia, on May 2nd. Now, keep the May 2nd in mind. In a Wednesday update, RCMP said they confirmed the two were, quote, observed in public with family members on the afternoon of May 1st, based on details they've gathered. They later clarified that confirmation was made by both video evidence and eyewitness accounts. Well, I don't know why they had to later clarify it, but they're claiming at this point, the RCMP, that there is video evidence. And if that is true, then the children, just a narrow timeline of 24 hours when the children could have disappeared, as opposed to just the morning of the 2nd. All right, now, then it gets a little weird. Police also said investigators have collected hours of video from the area surrounding Lansdowne Station, which is excellent. We're now asking anyone who has dash cam footage or video along Garlick Road, I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right, but okay, Garlick Road, between 12 p.m. on April 28th and 12 p.m. on May 2nd to contact us. Wait a minute. If they were seen, and you actually have confirmed they were seen the afternoon of May 1st, what do you care happened prior to May 1st, April 28th, April 29th? What the heck? Why do you even care? I don't even understand that. Because if they were alive on the 1st, all the other stuff is meaningless. So unless they're looking, because they say they aren't looking at an abduction. If you were looking at an abduction, you'd be saying, what sketchy people might be rolling around in the area that we don't even know who they are. They're acting weird, or they're looking for children. You could go there, but they're saying there's no abduction. The children either got lost, which would have happened exactly on May 2nd. So you don't care what happens before May 2nd, or if their parents, somebody on that property did something to them, then you would only care if you saw them on May 1st for sure. You'd only care about those next 24 hours. I don't even know why they're looking further back, unless are they telling the truth about their video evidence that the children were alive on May 1st. I find it very conflicting, and I don't quite understand that. And then they say, police said they're committed to exploring all possibilities when it comes to the case. Okay, well, you should explore all possibilities. And as a profiler, even if I have a viewpoint which I'm pushing, let's say 85%, 90% in this direction, I'm not going to let go of the other percentage, which this could be one of those freaky things where, man, everything looked like it went this way, but it actually is this. So I can't say that the children didn't wander away. I personally can't say they weren't abducted. I can't say whether the parents did something to them. What I can say is I find the abduction thing very unlikely, considering where they're located and how much time the mom and stepdad said they the children went missing. And if you look back, if you go to my old video, you'll see what I say about the mother's statement, which I did statement analysis on. And I said, she's deceptive. And then something is wrong with what she's saying, because she's making up a story about the children being outside playing when she didn't know the children were outside playing. I mean, it's very confusing. So go check my previous video on that so you can see what my analysis of her statement was, which is why I found her deceptive, and which why I have to look at what happened to those children in that home. So where are we now? Well, we're not any place. We're hoping that the police are where they need to be. I'm not sure why they're saying what they're saying and what they're exactly looking for. But they're looking especially on that road. And what are they looking for on that road? The children weren't abducted. What are they looking for? And the only thing I can think of is one of the family members, mom, stepdad, or somebody else on that property, looking at their vehicles coming and going on that road, because the children didn't wander off. Somebody had to take them away on that road. And that may be why the police are looking on that road. Maybe most specifically from the first to the second, but it is possible they're saying, just in case, or whatever the video evidence is and whatever witness evidence there is isn't quite accurate, we want to move it back a few days, just in case. That would be the best I could guess. So it's been a while now since the children have gone missing, and it'll be interesting to see whether they come up with what they need to determine what exactly happened to these children. I'm sure they're still doing their interviewing of everyone who might be involved, and they're looking for those deceptive moments. Stepdad has said he's taken a polygraph. He says, came back good. But, we don't have proof that he, quote, passed it. And again, polygraphs, we can't necessarily believe them. And it depends what the police were doing with the polygraph. If they're using it, which is what you use it for, is to be able to, you're not really looking for exact answers and proof that they are, either 100% passed or showed deception. It's the interview that comes before, during, and after that really is what the whole polygraph thing is about. It's an interrogation method. So I don't know what the police are looking for. I don't know what the police have, but I find the timeline thing is a little wishy-washy, but that they're looking at the road is more interesting to me, the specific road, so that they think something happened, which they're looking for evidence of the children in some way being moved from the home down that road, or if they were seen on the first, actually at somewhere, and they never actually came home, that would be a whole nother issue as well. So I think that's what they're looking for, because they're saying they're not looking at an abduction. And could the children have wandered down that road, just down the road? Well, sure. But nobody ever said they saw the children on the road. So if they're not looking at abduction, we're back to they're looking at the children not going off on their own and not being taken away by anybody outside of the family unit. That's what I think they're looking at. Anyway, those are my thoughts on this. Please add your comments below. Please, if you're new to the channel, please do like and subscribe, and check my playlist for the other cases I cover. But also just keep tuned, because I don't know what they're going to come up with next. But when they do come up with some more interesting information, I will obviously offer my opinion on that. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.